Well, we're going to find out. We are going to F around and find out at this moment in time. We're going to F around and find out if we can get this stupid StreamYard working, folks. Oh my gosh. Multi-aspect ratio so that I can stream vertically and horizontally. Well, one of them is live officially on YouTube. My gosh. StreamYard, thank you so much for being a piece of crap and having a monopoly. Welcome in, folks. My God, no intro after that. Sorry if you guys tuned in for the first two intros that lasted 10 seconds and we didn't get to make it through. We're going to attempt to have a live podcast tonight. We did not have one last night. I recorded early this morning recapping the Carolina Panthers' disappointing loss to the New Orleans Saints. We're going to have some fun tonight. It feels like everywhere I turn, everywhere I listen, there's a lot of frustration with the Carolina Panthers. And the blame for this team sitting out here with Dave Canales, with Bryce Young, a lot of frustration in the Carolinas right now. And to be honest, I don't blame them. I don't blame any fans for how they feel. There's a lot of things that we're gonna have to talk about our man Bryce Young. And man, I hate to have one of those episodes, but it's like, what are we doing? All right, let's see if we can try to get this cleaned up for you guys. Oh man. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. In for a Monday night stream. Not our typical Sunday night. I got back last night hoping to stream Nolan Has Youth, and it was about 10 o'clock, and my wife's like, "Are you recording tonight?" I was like, "Nope. I'm taking a day." Since the Carolina Panthers decided to take a day off, I also decided to take a day off as well. So appreciate you guys. All the sarcasm on here sometimes, man. Kill myself. I do. Anyways, let's get into it, man. Welcome in, folks. We've got all the rinks and I was about to say kinkles. I don't even know what that is. We got all the wrinkles and kinks out of the way. At least I hope we do. There's a lack of preparation on my part this week. I'm following suit with Carolina Panthers' lack of preparedness as they chose to take the day off. We have Veterans Day tomorrow. We will stop and take a very serious moment right now to thank all of our active veterans that are serving in the military, protecting our country, and for those that have served before, retired. And I know there's Veterans Day and Memorial Day, two different things, but we do remember our veterans as well who give us and me the freedom to come on and talk about the sorry freaking Carolina Panthers. And folks, I have to take my own medicine here when we talk about the Panthers because I am one of the ones when the Carolina Panthers flustered at the beginning of the season that said and told you guys it's going to be okay. And I said, let's trust in Dave Canales. There's something different about the loss on Sunday, yesterday, to the New Orleans Saints. Something in the water. Victory Monday. And folks, if you listen to WFNZ, always give those guys shout outs. WFNZ had JJ Jansen on, who clarified that a victory Monday doesn't mean that the guys are not there or working out. They just get to do it at their own pace. So it's like instead of being here at a designated time, and maybe we do have to go back and think about what Derek Brown said, how there are no victory Mondays. We haven't earned anything. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, and you know what? They have not earned a thing, especially after this week. So here we are, folks, at 5-5, which, if we're being real, if we are being honest, and maybe I'll go back and watch a video, I probably won't. Through 10 games of the season, there's two ways to look at it. 5-5, 500, yeah. But it's like the wins and losses, they got you there. How did that happen? If if you just came into this and we've kind of flipped the script here and maybe we lose to Buffalo and lose to Green Bay and you squeak out the game against the Saints, you're like, okay, my expectations are not that high. And you're like, this is okay, 5-5. But you go and you beat Green Bay, you execute, you play efficiently, and you follow that up with a freaking just lackadaisical performance against a one-win football team in your division, a rival. These games matter. These games matter more than any games on the schedule. Folks, Tampa Bay losing a game, Tampa Bay with a chance to lose another game next week. And then their schedule gets a lot easier. Where this is frustrating for me as a Carolina Panthers fan is knowing what is ahead, because it does not get easier, folks. It is the second hardest remaining schedule. And the two easiest games are division opponents. So you have the New Orleans Saints again, of course. But how are we going to call that easy anymore? On the road. Never know what's going to happen. And Shuck is shucking the ball around all he wants back there at 26 years old. Surprised he's not a doctor on the sideline. I have to jab at Saints. Sorry, guys. I just do. I don't care if you beat us. You got a 26-year-old rookie quarterback who, honestly, what are we doing? What the hell are we doing in college football? COVID years. I don't care what year you want to stack on top of it. 7 years in college football. Okay, let's move on. Atlanta Falcons this week. Not taking the Atlanta Falcons lightly at all. And this is where it can get bad. And you don't like to hear that. If you're a Panthers fan, you don't want to hear it. You're locked into your zone. Everything's rainbows and kittens and whatever else makes you happy. You're locked in. And you're telling yourself, Carolina Panthers are playing some good football. They got a chance to make the playoffs. This, and this, man. This is where the wheels could fall off, man. I've been saying it. I haven't really said it out loud, but I want to prepare you for the potential for the wheels to break off and all heck to break loose. You think it's bad now, folks, sitting here at 5 wins. What if you wake up here in another 5 weeks? And folks, it's not like this competition that we are coming up against is just easy peasy walk in the park. Second toughest schedule. San Francisco 49ers, playoff team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, twice, playoff team. Going to win the division, more than likely. Seattle Seahawks, playoff team. Los Angeles Rams, playoff team. Somebody tweeted out a stat line for Matthew Stafford since week 4. Something ridiculous, 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I said, please hide your kids, hide your wife. Don't show that to Panthers fans. I don't want to know what a competent quarterback looks like in the NFL. Because, folks, it's time. It's time to have the conversation about Bryce Young. I hate this is where where we sit right now. This is why I know, at least in my book, that the fact that you're having to talk about it, because there are quarterbacks that you see and they've got it. I don't know that Bryce Young has it, folks. And we are in year 3. Year 3 of what we are calling an experiment. No, this is not you don't have an experiment with the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. That is not an experiment. You experiment with a 5th or 6th round pick. Some of you experimented in college. But guess what? This is the NFL. No experiments here, folks. This is a tried and true. You take him at number 1. It better freaking work out. And for us to keep going back into the lab, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, you get Bryce this. Offensive line does this. Now, I get it. It's not perfect, but no situation in the NFL is going to be perfect at all. There is no situation that is perfect. There are players that are going to rise to the occasion and make plays for their football team. There's quarterbacks specifically that are going to do things to help their teams win football games. And folks, I said it last night. I'll say it again. I'll double down, triple, double deck, Big Mac, quadruple, whatever it is, Burger King, McDonald's. I don't know how they stack them up. I don't care. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Take Bryce Young out of yesterday and have a competent quarterback, insert whoever you want, win. Go back to the Arizona game, win. This very easily could be a 7-3 football team with everything that it is. I just don't know, man. I really do not know, because we are trying to sliver out, well, if he just had this, and if this guy made this play and he's not getting this help, and guys are not making these catches down the field, my gosh, I'm just tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. Like, you're just not going to have everything fall in your favor in this league, and the margin of error is so slim. It is. Folks, Bryce Young, very, very fortunate. He gets two kind of lucky roughing the passer calls that worked out in his favor, but very terrible decision making continues to stack up. The one interception doesn't count. Okay, so be it. Staring down a defender in the flat and just dumping the ball off to him. And I know what the theme of today has been, and I'm the one who posted his passing chart, which blew up, and people are talking about the lack of deep throws. He just doesn't get the ball. And again, Canales talked about it today. I heard him. Canales is a good coach. He takes all the blame for everything, but at some point it's just not who he is. He's never going, and we've said it. He's never going to come out. He's never going to bash his players. He's never going to do anything like that to like throw this guy under the rug and all that. We get it. But you just wanted a little bit. You could sense the frustration. Number one, he looked extremely exhausted and fatigued and beat down today. And I don't know if it's the gauntlet of the NFL season getting to him, because it's 10 weeks into this thing without a bye. Maybe his hope in giving the guys a victory Monday is that, they could give themselves a little bit of room there, possibly. But it is a little baffling, too, the fact that you have Canales reporting that the guys came back with good energy on Wednesday after the victory Monday. Folks, go back and listen to the presser from Wednesday. He said it. Like, guys showed up the way that he would expect them to after a victory Monday. But then after, we're going to have this retrospective with everyone. We just weren't prepared. We weren't focused. We didn't. I mean, like, you're in the NFL and you're a franchise that doesn't know how to win, that doesn't know how to make the playoffs, and you're going to choose to kick yourself while you're down and lose to a terrible football team. Again, sorry, New Orleans Saints fans. You are a terrible football team. You're coming around. I'm not saying you're going to be down forever, but the Carolina Panthers should absolutely beat you. They should. This is the team that can't do that. And you're going to sit back here. Panthers are going to, in my mind, regret the fact that they didn't pick this game up. Now, argue what you will against Arizona. Maybe and whatever quarterback comes in wouldn't have won that game. So the Panthers still at 6 wins. They are fighting to keep up. That's what makes this difficult. We talk about last year, the Seattle Seahawks, 10-win football team. And folks here are like, if we get to 8 or 9 wins, that's great. In a down NFC South, that's the story every single year. The NFC South it's just winnable. It's winnable. The teams are going to be down. We just saw, like we said, 10 wins. And so the Panthers are not keeping stride. It's going to get more difficult. Now, if they pull it off, great. I'll be excited. I'm going to be pulling for them every Sunday. I watch them just like you guys watch them. But the inconsistencies are ridiculous. It's either we're getting blown out all the time, and if we're not getting blown out, then it's a lack of preparedness. It's been the story of this franchise, no matter who has been plugged in. And before I was coming on to this, I was starting to look at some of the next gen stats for Bryce Young. And, next gen stats aren't everything, But it is nice to look at those sometimes just to kind of see, okay, well, how do our guys stack up? There's some decent stuff in there. Not a good year for Bryce Young. Number one, I constantly have complained about Bryce Young and his completion percentage. And there are some situations where he does make smart decisions not to force the ball, but there's also just inexcusable incompletions at some point. And I know you have to factor in the drops, but folks, 61% completion percentage is not going to get the job done, especially for a quarterback that, and I mean, it's what people want to label him as, labeling him as this point guard, a distributor that can get the ball around. That's the other thing when you look at what we've seen with Bryce Young in the passing game. When he's been most effective, it's when he is able to get the ball around to a lot of people, not focus solely on T Mac. With that said, T Mac's the only one making plays right now. But getting the ball to JT Sanders, dinking and dunking for five catches, not big at all. Last night we talked when we were going through this, or I recorded it this morning, but I posted it. 88% roughly of Bryce Young's pass attempts, 10 yards or less. And that's been a very consistent theme with Bryce Young. Now, I was looking through if I can, longest completed air distance pass for Bryce Young. So this is out of, I believe, 37 quarterbacks that are tracked on Next Gen right now. If you go out to Next Gen stats, with a minimum of 75 passer attempts, so 37. So that's more quarterbacks than there are on a team. So 32 teams, you got some extras in there. Bryce Young is at the bottom of the list. The very bottom of the list. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if it's a kind of like it was discussed. It was asked about today. Canales did not give a really clear answer about his opinion on this, which is fine. But 41.1 yards, the longest completed pass. Bryce Young, bottom of the NFL. I don't know. And the thing is, it's not like he doesn't have a lot of time to throw. I'd say he's in the upper, at least the top half of the NFL with time to throw. 2.81 seconds. You look at Jalen Hurts, who has 3, Jacoby Brissett with 3, JJ McCarthy with 3, over 3. These guys, Caleb Williams with 3, but that 2.7 was the target, and so 2.81. Bryce Young's got time. I don't know what the answer is or is going to be, but there are things that have to happen behind the scenes that are going to start becoming real conversations. And number one, we talked about this. If you watched or listened, and we continue to talk about it, it was so funny. Earlier this season, I went on at the beginning of the season before it started. Went on with Randy Slack for ESPN Wilmington, and we were talking about Bryce Young, and we were discussing the future and whether we would pay him and what our view was on like him for this season, and kind of talking through all the options that are on the table. And honestly, I think yes, that the Panthers may pick it up, question mark. I think you have to see close to what we saw last year as this team closed it out. You do. You got to get something close to that for me to buy into it, to think. I honestly don't know. Like, if I'm making the decision, you possibly, now maybe you pick up the 5th-year option knowing that there's the potential to, okay, one, he's under contract, so that's good. Whether he plays on it or not, and whether he's here or not, gives you the additional year. So going into his 4th season, if going into it, either in the off season or at any point you wanted to move on and try to do it via trade, I doubt you're getting anything in return big, but you could do that. So you would have that as an option on the table. If you're Dan Morgan, I think hands down, you talk about Bryce Young likely going to be pushing. Like, you think about these quarterbacks coming in through year 3, after year 3, going into year 4, starting the conversation about long-term contracts, extensions, lots of money, 30, well, I can't even say 30, but 40, 50, 60. I'm not saying Bryce is going to get 60, but you're in that range for how much quarterbacks want to be paid that are franchise quarterbacks. I'm not opening the checkbook. I'm not. Now you're going to say, well, what is your opinion on a solution to solve this? And I don't have a good one because I'm not buying into the draft class at this point. And I don't think the Panthers are in a position to go and draft someone early. There's always a possibility that they decide, like, they're going to need another quarterback next year. They're going to go through this, bringing back either Hendon Hooker or White again. I don't think you can really trust Andy Dalton, even though he's under contract. I think you got to get rid of him. Sorry, Andy. It's been fun. You got your money. You got to play a little bit, but there's no way in my mind, if I'm Dave Canales, that I can watch this again, because you're seeing through gameplay that the law of averages of who Bryce Young is as a quarterback is more on the side that you don't want him to be. And that's why I think we continue to talk about it, because we're still wondering. We can chalk up the game-winning drives. That's fantastic. Good for him. Some of those he digs himself into. He's clutch in some situations. Had an opportunity to be clutch on Sunday. I didn't think that was going to happen with the way that they were playing. Like, just not it. But Dave Canales to find something. I'll keep talking like about what that could be, because we're eventually going to find out. You could look at a veteran. The market's not great, at least from who's available right now that's going to be a free agent next year. But Dave Canales, if I'm him, I gotta find somebody to give a little more edge in there. I just hate it. I do, because nobody wants, at least, I mean, there are people. Some people may want Bryce Young to fail, but I don't want Bryce Young to fail. But I'm also tired of seeing what we're seeing, because we are seeing a bottom tier NFL quarterback. Statistically speaking, this is not a number 1 overall pick play. And so then we buy into this idea, well, when he's going to come out and he's going to sling it around and we're going to get Bama Bryce. Feels like we talked about Bama Bryce not that long ago. Bama Bryce is long gone. Maybe he retired when Nick Saban retired. I don't know. But Bama Bryce, don't know if we're going to have that back at any point. Hopefully we do. You got to figure something out. Hopefully you see it on Sunday against the Falcons and he can find some success there at some point, like he did last year. It wouldn't be bad at all. But this idea, though, that we're going to get that version, I don't believe so. And so now we were buying into Bama Bryce. Now we're trying to buy into game manager Bryce. So it's like, oh, you sold me a bad bill of goods. And it's like, I want a full refund. I don't want this. Give me my money back. And then you haggle with me and you're like, well, you know what? How about I throw in a remote control car with whatever package you get for free? Sure. Okay. Or I'll give you, or YouTube TV and I get you your $20 because you don't have ESPN. I got whatever. Take my $20, even though I got to go sign up for a form and link to do all that stuff. Whatever. I haven't done that yet. But you sit back and say, okay, well, you know what? I'll buy into it. You made me a good enough offer and you got me to buy in for a little bit longer. It sucks, man. Like that, the fact that is what we as fans are trying to sell ourselves on, that it's okay to have a game manager that was the number 1 overall pick that you invested so heavily in, that was supposed to change your franchise and do all this, but it's okay to have that as your future? Question mark? I don't think so. It feels like the Panthers in a way are stuck, but we have seen teams in this position move off. And I get it. It's week 10. I have to take some of my own medicine because I am venturing very far out into the realm of kind of bashing Bryce. Maybe a little too much. I don't know. I feel like I enjoy WFNZ, and I feel like sometimes I'm Kyle Bailey up here where it's I don't have the text line, but I didn't get input from people. You have the pro Bryce crowd, and you have the crowd that hates Bryce, and you're in between. And I feel like I'm always in between, pretty good. But now venturing heavy into the hate land of Bryce, which is not the greatest. I get it. It's tough, man. It's tough being a Carolina Panthers, fan right now. A lot of this, guess what? And it all depends on the outcomes of the football games because Bryce Young has not played great down, the last few weeks. Like he's made a play or two when he needed to, but when you talk about this win streak and what this team's been able to do, it's not like it's been on Bryce Young just lighting it up. It's been the ground game. If the Carolina Panthers did not have Rico Dowdle, this is probably a 2-3 win football team right now. And now, guess what? The Saints have. I love that we talk about this team having blueprints. That's our series. But you think about a blueprint, and it was acknowledged by Dave Canales in Panthers Talk today. There's a blueprint. You saw okay, well, the blueprint for how Buffalo attacked our defense, and now you got a blueprint on what you can do on the defensive side of the ball to stop us and slow the run game down. It was a situation where the Saints, and I know some folks called this out, that it wasn't necessarily a stacked box that often. Like they were just shutting down the run game, which is a bigger issue, and forcing the Panthers and Bryce Young to make some plays. Now, that's not to say it was a perfect day back there. The pressure was there. It wasn't like it was seeping through at times, but Bryce with his typical get out, try to do his little spin move, that whole thing, man, drives me crazy because 9 out of 10 times it just turns into him getting tackled 10 yards back, 11 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It is very frustrating, but speaking on Bryce Young and where we are, he's 25th in passing yards right now, number 1 overall pick. And I get it. He missed a game. We've had a lot of success running the ball. That's what Dave Canales wanted to do until it stopped, and it was stopped. Doesn't mean that it won't get picked back up or that things won't continue, but find out. He has 11 touchdowns on the season. That's tied for 20th. 7 interceptions, so not as bad there. And his QBR rating is 40.7, which is 29th in the NFL. So bottom tier quarterback stats at the moment. Talking through some of his game logs from this year. This is the other. Oh yeah, it just can't, man. And maybe I am talking heavily on Bryce Young tonight, but maybe some of this is Canales too. I don't know. Maybe there's a lack of trust in being able to figure this out. But on the season, you probably know this if you're heavy in the weeds with the Panthers, but I'd love for you to guess how many games he's passed for more than 200 yards. It's pretty easy. 1 game. And that was the comeback that fell short where we had to throw the ball 55 times. 55 pass attempts to get to 328 yards. Bryce Young has thrown for more than 200 yards 1 time on the season. 154 yards lost to Jacksonville. 328 lost to Arizona. 121. We forget that Atlanta game, not great. 150 lost to New England. Miami, 198. Dallas, 199. Jets, 138. Green Bay, 102. Barely enough yards for an entire football field. New Orleans, 124. Averaging 5.6 yards per catch. 5 yards. That's not that far. I mean, I don't know if you know, a first down is 10 yards. When you're starting out at 1st and 10, you got to get 10 yards to get a first down at 5.6 yards. 79.7 passer rating. He's only had a passer rating over 90 3 times. Arizona, Miami, and then the Dallas game. It just is like I don't know, because we go back to last year and maybe we made too big of a storyline out of how good he looked down the stretch, how good he looked after the benching when they started, and maybe it was just we were desperate to see wins and to see winning football. You see him get back into the lineup, figuring it out, and start chunking away a little bit. Competitive football against Kansas City, Tampa, Philadelphia. Not so good against Dallas last year. But it was enough for us to at least buy into it. So we know the first 2 weeks of last year were terrible. At least he didn't get into the realm of the Chargers game, throwing for 84 yards on 26 pass attempts, 3.2 yards per pass. It's just atrocious. But you look at last year, he ended up starting what was the final 10 games, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, final 10 games. In that stretch, had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 games throwing for more than 200 yards. In some cases, 224, 263, 298, 219, 203, 251. A lot of production. Getting rid of some of the turnovers. I mean, good gosh, how many times did we hear about the stretch of his passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns, the 10 touchdowns over the final 3 games and no turnovers, no interceptions, like just kept on. I don't know. I'm at the point of where I'm going to probably just lose words. It can all get better. As much as I want to be a Debbie Downer today, unfortunately, that's just one, I didn't get to live stream last night, so that's part of it. Didn't get to live stream with you guys and voice all of the frustration that we had. So we had to sit back a little bit and just wait for me to get all this chaos out. Things can get better, but maybe it goes back to me just being too optimistic. Maybe I shouldn't have believed in this team too early. Like, I don't know. Did I just buy into them a little too early? Maybe, maybe not. Let's look at the number. Well, you guys can't see it, but I think the other thing that baffles me is just seeing some of the production out of guys that have played in less games and guys that are kind of filling in for roles. You look at Mac Jones, 2,151 yards on the season. That's 10th in the NFL, and he's only played in 8 games. Daniel Jones, of course, which that's its own storyline. I mean, I kind of put him in his own bucket. Hard to compare him. Joe freaking Flacco, 15th in the NFL, 2,069 passing yards. Our man Bryce, all the way down at 25. Michael Penix with more in 8 games. Oh, Cam Ward, even Jalen Hurts, even Spencer Rattler, who's played in 8 games and got benched. Heck, Lamar Jackson will probably pass him, and he's played in 3 less games. And I get it. When you are running the ball efficiently and effectively, you're not going to pass. Like, that's just not like that's. You want to play keep away, whatever your game plan is. You want to run Rico to the ground, so be it. But we're talking about a quarterback that's sitting here at the bottom half of all 32 teams in the NFL right now. I don't know. This is a big game. Like, as I was stating coming into this, I'm trying to see what the heck is going on here. I was looking at I'm trying to pull up. Oh yeah, they haven't updated. Wanted to check the power rankings, but they're not. That's not what I wanted to check. Anyways, oh man, it's a big week. It is a big week for the Carolina Panthers taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons coming home after the overtime loss to Germany in Germany to the Colts, which I appreciated. Sorry, Falcons fans. I appreciated that one. But yeah, man. I mean, this is kind of it in a way. And maybe I shouldn't have been this high and I shouldn't have bought in. The Panthers don't squeak one out. And I say squeak because I don't know that it's going to be easy. They don't figure out how to take care of the Falcons at 5-6. I do think this thing could spiral out of control because you have a road game against the 49ers. We have not been great on the road. And likely a 49ers team that's probably going to be getting healthier. The Rams at home, like we mentioned. Saints on the road. Tampa, Seattle, Tampa. It's like if this team is going to have any shot in making the playoffs, got to see them be able to make a little bit of a push right now. Got to get something going in there. No, I mean, my gosh. Anyways, folks, let's jump in really quickly, catch up with y'all. Irritated. Yeah, irritated Carolina dad is enjoyable. Oh, man. I love that. Irritated CD. Martin NC7206 says, no other choice but to ride with Bryce for the rest of the season, but definitely a very crucial year. It is. The time is ticking, and I think I was listening to WFNZ again. It's pretty much my in-between Panthers, Adam Gold. Try to listen to all the North Carolina radio stations because, like, we're the ones. There's some in South Carolina, but I'm in North Carolina, so I listen to the folks up here. Of course, ESPN Wilmington too, my man Randy Slack. But I was listening to, I think it was Kyle Bailey again on the way home, and somebody called in. They were talking about, when you have poor performance, eventually you're going to get written up. Like somebody's going to write you up. You can't perform poorly, and it feels like. And then after that, if you don't perform when you're on your performance plan, you're going to get fired. That's kind of like what it feels like for where Bryce Young is. Yeah, I don't think there's I don't think there's any way you bench him unless Dave Canales finds something crazy in Hendon or Mike White. I don't think that's a thing. I do think you have to ride it out with him right now. I hope I said that right. Choi Romy. Appreciate y'all tuning in too. So the question is, should we throw a 7th for Will Levis or do we sign someone like Flacco? I personally am not a Will Levis fan. I don't think I would entice it. I mean, 7th rounder though is nothing. Like a 7th round pick, odds of them being on the team and hitting and all that. It's like you're really giving up nothing. I don't know that I would do that, but I do think, like, I was looking at it last night. The quarterback market isn't good as far as who is available this coming round. I'm going to try to get this pulled up. Maybe we'll get there, maybe not. I'm trying to refresh this. So I know Russell Wilson is available. When you start talking about guys with ties to Canales, not that I want him here. I think that's the problem is, like, just being able to find the Spo track's not loading, but I'm going to try this one. For whatever reason, I can't get my list to load, but I would strongly consider looking at the quarterback market. I would actually look at it right now if I was able to, but I can't. I don't think this is. I mean, this is my Google search that's telling me who is available. It's funny, they have like super old quarterbacks on here. They have Cam Newton listed, Dan Orlovsky. Like, what are we doing? Tom Brady is available quarterbacks. All right, let's try over the cap. Maybe over the cap's going to load. All right, 2026 quarterbacks. Here we go. Daniel Jones, I think the Colts are going to be smart, or at least I think they would, and bring Daniel Jones back. Aaron Rodgers, not even worth it. Russell Wilson, not even worth it. It's not good. So like, it's not like we're going to really have that much to pick from. Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson. He's humming around with the Dolphins. Joe Flacco, our man Kenny Pickett, Jimmy Garoppolo, old Mitchell Trubisky, Case Keenum, Trey Lance, Brandon Allen, Josh Johnson. No, Carson Wentz is recovering. Malik Willis, Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater. It's not great. Tyler Huntley, Gardner Minshew, Skylar Thompson, Sam Howell. Heck, at this point, just throw up Sam Howell and let him bounce around from another team and take some reps. But no, I think that is a problem because there's not a lot available. I don't think you don't want to trade for anyone like at all. And clearly the free agent market's not going to be good. So you almost are stuck with him at least another year. And where does that lead you? I don't know. So wild times. And we were talking about earlier, and appreciate you guys for jumping in as I was talking and being patient with me. So here it says we should be 7-3 with a good quarterback. Not going to lie, Saints and Cardinals were games we should have won. This tells me that we're probably a quarterback away. I agree. You start talking about everything else, and everybody's like, you can't blame Bryce. Okay, I understand. I can't put it all on him. No, it is a team game. It's a team win. Quarterbacks are going to get a lot of the praise, a lot of the blame, all those things. But yeah, do want to see a little bit more. And I do think a decent quarterback would have been able to help out a little bit there. Shout out to Martin too for becoming a new member. Appreciate that as always. If you guys are tuned in here, you can subscribe on the channel on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, let's keep it going. See what Brad says. We have a quarterback and an offensive coordinator problem. That's a good point. I saw somebody joking about Brad Dable. Well, I don't know if they were joking. It was one of the Panthers on Tap guys about Brad Dable being the OC here. I think the problem with any type of offense, and I'm not against it. I'm not against an offensive coordinator being here. It's one of those things where there's Clemson fans here, and it felt like for some time there that maybe Dabo was keeping the guys in house there and not really expanding. Although this year, I'm sorry, it's not working out for y'all in general. But you think about sometimes you can be loyal to a fault, and this is not me saying that Brad Idzik's not good, but there are clearly guys in the NFL that are great offensive coordinators that know what they're doing, that could give Dave Canales the opportunity to really be a head coach. Not saying that he's not, but he is so focused on calling the plays. So I think a lot of people are frustrated with the play calling and what we're seeing there. And I also would say, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed if you could find it, but I don't think that it's like, having to fire your brother. It's like you probably not going to do that unless your hand is forced and then you're out of there as well. And then let's see. Chris says Bryce is going to show flashes at the end of this year again, like he did last year, and everyone is going to be hopeful again. And the following year, it's going to be the same thing. That's what it feels like. It's like we're in this pattern. It's like once we get into should things go bump, or we get into that position of not being in playoff contention, which is absolutely a possibility, then Bryce Young is going to decide to play well when there's no pressure and things aren't, you can kind of open things up a little bit more. I said this in my video, the podcast from this morning, that I heard Mike McDaniel talking about giving Tua an opportunity to take shots downfield. And he told him, you know what, if you throw an interception, you throw an interception. And I'm not saying I want Bryce back there and we're not at that point. The Dolphins are a bad football team, so they've got some flexibility. But empowering your quarterback to say, you know what, let's take one. Let's see if we can get one down the field this time. Take a shot. Of course, you're going to have to answer for it. But knowing that the coach has your back for you to be able to do something like that. But Chris said he doesn't have it. And if he is good somewhere else, that's great. He isn't here, right? I do think a lot of people too, maybe in that bucket. It's like if he gets the right system, right coach, like you think, what if he goes to Miami, like was originally a lot of people thought could happen, or Stafford retires and he goes out to the Rams or whatever. It's been the theme for the Panthers to see these quarterbacks rebound elsewhere. So be it. I do have that a little bit of that fear, but anyways. Eddie Harden said permanently bench bench Young. He's unplayable and unwatchable. Anyone else is better than 9. I will say I don't know that Andy Dalton is better, so it'd be a tough competition there between those two. But I get the frustration there. Maybe it's a throw in. You want to see Hendon Hooker out there or White. I do think Bryce is slightly better than anything that we have practice squad or between Andy, but definitely understand it. Brad said, Bryce better start putting up 275 yards a game and 2 or 3 touchdowns if he wants to keep his job. And Chris said, out of Bryce's starts that he's had, he's won us one game with this play and that was the Falcons last year. Shows that he can't be trusted if you're hoping for, Brady was talking to Brad. If you're hoping for 275 and multiple touchdowns, probably not going to be a thing. It's a good point that we haven't really seen Bryce just go out and win a game to win a game. And by that, I mean like, I'm just going to go up and light it up, connecting all over the field. Doesn't have to be 300, no, but 250, 2 to 3 touchdowns. Willing your team, putting them in a good spot, not going 3 and out for 4 straight drives. A lot of frustration right now. Yeah, and going back to this, so the game in Atlanta is going to be key. If Bryce doesn't step up, he's done. Atlanta has revenge on their mind. Yes, they do, and they know how to beat us now that thanks to the Saints. This is Bryce's final test. Yep. And Brad said he was being sarcastic. That's funny. Yeah, quarterback market is dry. Yeah, the Dolphins did end up beating the Bills too there. So, all right, man. Well, fun times chopping it up tonight. As always, we will be back with our preview of the Atlanta Falcons. We'll be back with all the storylines, everything that we have, possibly even an episode tomorrow. We'll see. And if all things go as well, back on track to live stream on Sunday. I do wish I could live stream a little bit earlier, but we'll take the 9:30 slot on the East Coast. As always, man, appreciate you guys tuning in. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.